you to those of you who have already joined in. Oh, we've already got 12 likes. That's nice. That's unusual when we start out to have so many likes when hardly anybody's here. But we do have a few people here. So if you're here, please chime in the chat and let us know what's going on. I'm going to make all messages visible. Usually takes a minute for people to start their chats to start coming in. This is our patio ponds episode. So I'm here with my wife, Kelly.
Hi.
This is a collaborative project that we have been working on. We're going to tell you more about that in a little while. But today we're going all into our patio ponds, everything about them, what lives in them, how we chose them, things we're doing, how problems we've encountered, all kinds of stuff like that. So I see that Chumpbara is here, Poseidon is here, Laura Philippi is here. Laura says hello, Kelly, specifically.
Hello.
Frank the Tank is here as well. Hopefully you can all hear me. You must hear me because Laura got your name right. Okay. I'm not sure how to say that name. Pichik and Lisa Sparkman, Cindy's Bella's Buggy Bags here as well. Good. Cindy's Bella's Buggy Bags is from the UK. Great. And here's Chet, who is from Utah.
Oh,
so we got people from lots of different places. Can everyone hear both me and Kelly fairly well? I'm hoping so. We're going to give you a little bit of a tour of our ponds and just kind of everything about them. This is one of our ponds. Okay, people can hear. Very good. Thank you for confirming that, everybody. We've got 3 little patio ponds here. This one is a 20-gallon pond. This one is about 9 gallons here. And this one's about 4.5, something like that. So,
you got a big one, a medium, and a little.
Yeah. So we're going to talk all about it. Why don't we? And we're going to talk about the species that live in them, everything. I see Joseph Tavir, Isopotacy have also joined in. Poseidon. Okay, great. So maybe you can see a little bit what's going on. We'll get closer in. Right now the glare's kind of hiding what's in there. You can probably get some glimpses of what's going on. Anyway, so like I mentioned, this is a collaborative project. Welcome, Theropod Hunter. But I want Kelly to give her perspective of how this started. It's kind of fun, I think.
Okay.
So.
I woke up. I don't know. Was it a Saturday? I don't remember.
It was the.
Were you still on vacation? You were still on vacation.
Yeah, it was.
So all of it felt like a Saturday.
It was after the 24th of July. I remember that.
Okay. So, no, I rolled over in bed and the curtains had gotten pushed out of the way from the balcony that's just off of our bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why is there a big tub on the balcony? What are we doing on the balcony?
There was a 27-gallon, those black and yellow tubs, you know, where the bottom's black and the top's
like from
yellow.
Costco.
From Costco. It was a 27-gallon tub on the balcony, and she could see part of it. Okay.
Like, what are we doing on the balcony? And this is like, oh, well, I wanted it to be a surprise. So we went out, and there were these little fish in the balcony, in the bucket. We said we were going to build ponds, and it was going to be a surprise, but since I had already found out about it, we put the rest of it together ourselves and picked out the containers together and the plants and everything together. So
yeah, so the idea is to do a Japanese-style water garden, and that's what these are. They're based off of some Japanese patio ponds that I have seen before on videos and things like that. I haven't been to Japan, but I've seen them on videos and whatnot. And that was the idea, to make this, because this balcony is pretty cool. And I told Kelly she's not giving me a camera, so she's not. But this is our backyard. This little balcony here is, I can't remember exactly how big it is, but it's pretty small. It's a private balcony. We have these lounge chairs, the foldable lounge chairs on it. And there's no way off of the balcony, like there's not steps or anything of it. It just goes straight from our bedroom, a door that goes from our bedroom straight onto this balcony. That's the only place it goes. So it's really nice. We've got trees all around. And so this is our little oasis kind of thing. And we've enjoyed sitting on the balcony many a time and just chatting or reading or whatever we like to do out here. But I thought this would be really nice to have sort of a focal point to it. And so that's what we're doing. And congratulations, isopod oasis. That's a fantastic species, Laureola durian spiky. So cool. Hope they do well. And so that's kind of how we started. From my standpoint, like I said, I wanted to do a little Japanese water garden surprise for Kelly. Years and years ago, I learned about Japanese rice fish, but I didn't know much about them. I'm talking decades ago. I saw a picture in a book. I think it was one of those tropical fish hobbyist books, so it was a long time ago. And it showed a picture of this fish, and it had a little clump of eggs, like a bunch of grapes, right near its anal fin. I thought, well, that's funky. That's kind of cool. But it's just sort of a plain fish. And I thought, that's neat. But I didn't think a whole lot of it. And then several months ago, I started encountering videos of people who are keeping Japanese rice fish, which are also known as medaka, me meaning eyes, and daka meaning high. So medaka directly translated doesn't mean rice fish. It means high eyes. But these are fish that are native to Japan and other areas in Asia, and they have some really unique characteristics. They are common in places like rice paddies.
That's why they call them rice fish.
That's why they call them rice fish,
English,
exactly.
Yeah.
And they because they live in rice paddies, they're used to fairly still water, very still water, in fact, and water that changes temperature rather drastically. There are plenty of places in their natural range that, the water freezes over, the top of the water freezes over in the winter, and in the summer it gets really, really hot in these shallow bodies of water. And so they're super, super hardy, and they started getting popular. I started watching videos from a lot of people who keep them in Japan and also other places. So I think one of the first videos I watched was from Ryo Watanabe in Japan, and he has setups much like these with water hyacinth plant, which we'll talk about more, and other water lilies and stuff out on his uncle and aunt's patio. And he had these rice fish that were just thriving. He was talking about how tough they were. And so I said, that's really interesting. And all these things started combining in my head. And it would be so cool if we did this little Japanese water garden area and I could surprise Kelly with it. And I bet she would like it and it would be fun. So that's kind of where that came from. And Frank
I was
the Tank,
surprised.
And she was surprised, and it was fun because she smiled, she was happy, and we're trying to make them look really nice, and we're trying to.
Yeah.
It's been a fun to collaborate on the whole project. Very different, all the different steps. So like these containers, this is like a whiskey barrel, or sometimes they call it half barrel, whiskey barrel, oak barrel, whatever. But that's the idea here, and it's a little bit warped right now because it rained like last week. A lot, and it was fine before that, but the barrel kind of warped a little bit, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fix it. You can see how this is kind of deformed right here. It wasn't before.
It fit over the edge before, and now it doesn't quite fit.
This liner we bought for it fits, and the liner was like $20 and ish, right around there.
$20 and much pain in the rear.
Yeah, we got it from Home Depot, but the thing is, we ordered one, and it got lost in transit, and we were like, what's going on with this? And so I communicated with customer service various times and tried to figure out what was going on, and finally I just ordered a new one, and I said, ship it to the Home Depot itself and we'll come pick it up. And when we did go to pick it up, they handed it to me, and I realized it was two of them. One of them had a label on it for some poor guy in Tampa, Florida, and the other one inside it was mine. So I think what happens is these get nested together, and so two of them, ship as one, and so they end up going to the wrong place. And so
I don't know if the poor guy in Florida ever got his
hope he did,
liner.
because I detached it and gave it back to the customer service person and said, yeah, this poor guy in Tampa, Florida needs his pond liner. So I hope he got it. And then it's a good thing I did it, then, not later. Figured it out 2 years later or something like that. But anyway, and these were also from Home Depot. They're considerably smaller, but match the the oak barrel aesthetic. They're
not actually wood.
resin or something, but
Yeah.
they have little drainage holes in the bottom, but they have a little plug that's waterproof. It's like a silicone plug or something, totally waterproof, and it totally works. So these were, all from input from Kelly. I said, well, what kind of things do you like? And we looked at some different things, and we walked around the stores and got ideas. We went to more than one store to get ideas about what we would like. We looked at some ceramic ones, and they were outrageously expensive.
They were really expensive and heavy.
And these are light, and they're easy, and they're fairly cheap. So that's what we got. And the oak barrel itself is not watertight, but with the liner in it, it works great. So that's been fun.
It looks pretty.
And people are saying they like them.
Good.
Oh, Aunt Cindy Skings is here too. Soup preparation tutorial. I'll let you know how that goes, Frank, but it hasn't been that hot. So
soup preparation.
You can see that they're aerated, which is maybe part of the reason you're thinking about that. These are mildly aerated, just little air stones in the corner, just a trickle of air, not a lot going on. You don't need to do that generally, and the ultimate plan is to not have that, just for simplicity's sake and for aesthetics. But the thing is, this summer, it was getting too hot in the pools, and during the middle of the day, the algae was forming and kind of making this
Especially
sort of
because they were
scum.
still new.
Yeah, new. Exactly.
Weren't all the way cycled or set up yet. So
yeah, and as they were maturing, this stuff was forming, and we didn't lose any of the medaka, but I was worried that it might get too hot and too, the combination of high heat, which reduces oxygen saturation in the water, and this sort of scummy algae that was forming on the top is going to be a problem for oxygen exchange. So we just added these, and that basically took care of that. So yeah, you can see that, and as we'll dig into the water a little bit more as we feed the fish, and you can see them up close, and that'll be fun. We can see them far more up close than we're seeing them right now. And you'll see the fish eat and all that stuff. But this kind of gives you the overview. So what else do we have on our list? There's tons of stuff. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
Home Depot. Did you talk about the drainage holes?
Oh,
that you drilled?
I didn't talk about the drainage holes. I need to, because we did talk a little bit about how it rained the other day, like heavily. And we live in an arid state, one of the most arid states in the country, actually. You see how I've got a hole drilled there? And I have one of the holes drilled up near the top rim in each of these, just for safety, because I had learned from my research that you need to do that. And it usually doesn't rain very heavily here. Most of our precipitation we get here is from snowmelt from the mountains, but sometimes it does rain. And so last week it rained pretty heavily 2 different days, like 2 days in a row it rained heavily.
Yeah,
that's almost unheard of for here.
If we get a summer storm, it would be 10 or 15 minutes, kind of monsoon style. But this was, I don't know, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
where it rained most of the day.
Yeah, it was 2 solid days, and it was raining and raining and raining. And I had them drilled, and it's good because we got water changes done on these things with the rain. Yeah. Probably not complete water changes, but there was definitely, they got filled to the top, and then rain leaked out the holes and prevented them from overflowing.
Good, because otherwise the fish probably would have gone with it.
Yeah, because a lot of times, especially the fry, but even the adults, if the water starts overflowing in a rainstorm, they can just go right over the side, and that's the end of that. So we're really glad that we had the drainage holes in there. So Cindy's Bella's Buggy Bag says they want to try these too. How big the fish grow? Cindy's asking that as well.
Not very big.
About 2 inches or so. Yeah. You can see some adults right there. We'll get closer in on them a little later, but about 2 inches. The females get a little bigger than the males. Maybe a little over 2 inches, but not a lot. So they stay pretty small. So a lot of people describe them as mini koi because they come in so many different color varieties and patterns, and some of them have sparkles on them and stuff. And you can keep them in pools year round. That's one of the things that I love about this is not just a summer tub project. I mean, summer tub projects, I'm not casting aspersions upon those. They're cool, but we can keep these year round in these pools as long as we protect the ponds from freezing over freezing solid. They can freeze over. These fish are perfectly capable of handling a layer of ice, even several inches thick on the top. What they cannot handle is being encased in ice. So we will take provisions for that in the winter because it is possible. We do get winters cold enough We've gotten down to 0 Fahrenheit. I forgot to look that one up. I don't remember what that is in Celsius, but
I believe it's called stupid cold.
it is stupid cold, yeah. And so we do get down pretty cold sometimes, so it's possible that the ponds could freeze over, and not just freeze over, but freeze solid. And so we'll have to make provisions for that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Actually, we can talk about it now, I guess.
Sure, we can talk about it now.
For this one, we're going to try to keep this one in place. We have a pond de-icer that is supposed to work down to -40 Fahrenheit. It has never gotten to that temperature in all the years we've lived in this state, not even very close to that temperature. So we're going to put a pond de-icer, and since water at about 40 Fahrenheit, which is what it keeps the water at, 39-40 Fahrenheit is the densest of all water, it will sink down to the bottom and stay solid. And as it becomes less dense, as it approaches freezing, I guess, it will go up to the top and it will melt more, and it will just keep it from freezing solid. These we'll probably need to put in the garage or something, and possibly even in the greenhouse, because something along those lines, so that they don't freeze solid. Yeah, so that it stays warm enough during the winter. Let's see. I'm going to check the chat and make sure we didn't miss anything. So don't forget to add the noodles, egg, and meat. And we'll see how that goes, Frank. So Cyberspace Cosmona is asking what species there. Lisa says Madaka ricefish. Yes. And the ricefish, the species scientific name is Oryzius latipes, which Oryzius means it's just like a slight variation on the scientific name of spelling for rice itself. So they're referring to rice. And then latipes means side feet. Not sure what that refers to, because they don't have any feet. It might have something to do with their fins. Talking about
when they're holding their eggs, and it looks like they've got little things.
That's true. It might have something to do with how they hold their eggs, which is really cool. So when we talk about breeding, we'll get into that. So any pests you've had to deal with so far? Not really, Frank. Good question, though.
Did you think you saw dragonfly larvae in it the other day?
No, I was just kind of concerned about it because there were fewer fish over here that I could see, and then it turned out I saw more.
You didn't actually find one.
I didn't find one. The dragonfly larvae can be pests in these. Fortunately, we haven't seen any dragonfly larvae here. I think the way this kind of is protected, it's up against the house. They're right up against the house like this, and there's I'm not discounting the possibility that we could have some dragonfly larvae issues, but so far they haven't seemed to find the pond. But that may potentially be an issue. Raccoons is what I'm most worried about, because we do have raccoons in the backyard. We had to build my sister built a fortress to defend our chickens, and it works, but because she has carpenter skills and was able to make one that can keep the raccoons out. But this deck is pretty raccoon resistant. I'm not saying it's raccoon proof, but I am going to be
adding. Had them try to get up here, but they've never had a reason before to try to get up here.
Exactly. I think that was well put. We've been here 10 years. We've had raccoon problems in other places in the yard. We've never had a problem up here. They do the raccoons around here tend to avoid trying to enter any structures. Yeah. And I think this might count as a structure for them.
They might think it's a trap.
And honestly, raccoons are extremely adaptable, and when they're determined to do something, they're very intelligent about doing it. And that is a problem. But the way this is built, honestly, we're up on stilts. And the way the stilts are set up, I'm not sure they're going to be able to get up here, but I did order some anti-pigeon spikes, which are supposed to work for raccoons as well, to put in some strategic spots on those stilts, so they shouldn't be able to get up.
They can't climb the posts.
They can't climb the posts. But those are some of the main pests. Another one, mosquitoes.
We had wasps.
We had wasps come to get drinks. Yeah, I don't really consider them pests.
They haven't really done anything naughty. They just come and get a drink. And sometimes they're annoyed and fly in our face a little bit.
Yeah, but that's about all that has been. Mosquito-wise, these are actually awesome for that, because if mosquitoes go to a still part of the pond, because the pond's pretty still, if mosquitoes lay their eggs in there, guess where those eggs are going? I bet you all know.
Fish food.
Yep, free fish food, free healthy fish food.
Nom, nom, nom.
So that is kind of a bonus. You're destroying mosquito populations, or at least you're not letting them grow. So let's see. Do those drain holes allow the water to seep in between the liner and the barrel? For these are just like a one-piece thing, essentially. This one, water probably did seep into the barrel itself, and is probably part of the reason why it worked. I was not prepared for that. and because we get rain so infrequently of that
Yeah.
magnitude, I
Didn't even
probably
think
should have.
about it.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah, that probably did play a part. And it may dry up enough. You know, it's only been a week. Maybe it's slowly drying, and we'll be able to get it to fit back. So Laura Philippi is asking if there's anything else there to help clean up. Well, there are some hitchhiker snails, some ram's horns, and some
They
bladder
were indeed
snails.
hitchhikers.
They were, yeah. We went to the garden store to get this water hyacinth here. That's what this plant is here. And
The one that looks like you want to pop it.
yeah, it has the little floats, the water hyacinth. That came with some snails. And I think some of the water lettuce came with some of the ram's horn snails, because this came from our goldfish tank, the dwarf water lettuce.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where some of the ram's horn snails came in. So I pulled a few snails out. There's also Daphnia in there. And the Daphnia
Baby fish.
they serve two purposes. Yeah, and the goldfish love them too. But they serve two purposes, and one is they help clean up by reducing the particulate matter in the water, and another one, they provide food for these babies, because when they give birth in here regularly and the babies eat them, they're like brine shrimp, newly hatched brine shrimp size. So the Daphnia help with both of those things. So I know I'm missing some things.
I kind of jumped around.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So Theropod Hunter is asking, water wheel plants, could they help with any invertebrate pests? Maybe, but if they did, they'd probably also eat the fry. The fry are really tiny. So, because I'm assuming you're talking, when you say water wheel plants, you're talking about the one of the bladderwort plants that has the little traps that catch little inverts. Haven't had any bird issues.
It's true, we haven't.
We should do a winter update at some point on Instagram or something, because these fish are super tough. In a lot of places where you just have ice form on the surface, they are people keep these out year round without any heat at all, any additional heat. Here, like I said, I don't think they would freeze over, at least not the 20-gallon one. Probably wouldn't freeze all the way through to the bottom, but we're going to put protection anyway. And then these, yeah, it's possible they would on a cold night. So probably only January, February, maybe December,
right?
but that would be enough. So we have added Daphnia, and they're doing a good job in there. There's
Fish
Paul
like
Large Marge Morse. Welcome. Let's see. What was the purpose in creating these, Aunt Sandy's King? So basically to create a little oasis for us, where we could relax and enjoy them. And secondarily, there'll be more rice fish available that we can sell stuff once in a while. We should talk about the breeding and stuff. So Max Yin, what advantages do rice fish have over something like mosquito fish? Also, what plants are in the pond? So let's talk about those two, because we needed to cover that.
We started about the plants.
We started. So we've got water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is really easy to grow, and it serves several purposes. It, of course, does the things that all plants do, all aquatic plants do. It is removing wastes from the water. It's providing shelter for the fish. It shades the water. The roots are places to hide, but also the water hyacinth have these nice shaggy roots, and you can see some of them here. These are all water hyacinth roots. And the nice shaggy roots provide a place for these fish to deposit their eggs, because they are egg depositors. They focus on depositing their adhesive eggs in specific places, and they love the roots of these water hyacinths. So we have right here, you want to tell them about this one?
The lily?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I picked it. How about that?
Yeah.
We went to a garden center around here to try to look at some different plants and see what I liked, and I really liked the water lilies idea. So we poked about online, looked at a bunch of different kinds. Some of it was the dwarf ones that were too small for one this size, because they needed to be planted closer to the surface. So they weren't going to work. So remind me the name of the one that we actually got.
This is cultivar Nymphea Walter Pegels is the cultivar name.
The flower, it had a flower on it when it arrived. It has not made it up past the edge of the water yet.
But that's the blossom. It's a little hard to see with the glare.
Right there.
That's the blossom. It looks like hopefully it'll make it up to the top pretty soon.
But It's been growing fast since we got all these leaves go with the lily.
Yeah. And it was only, it's
It
been
was
less than a
it was
week
like at
since we
least 3 or
planted it.
4 inches under the water when we planted it.
And that was on Wednesday.
Yeah, so it went really fast.
So it's growing fast, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to the point when
Mm-hmm.
it's going to have flowers.
It might have flowers this season even.
Yeah, we're hoping so. They usually bloom quite a lot in the summer up until the end of September. So we're optimistic we'll get at least a few blooms this year, and then next year we should get a lot more, like starting in May or so. Have blooms in May, June, July, August, and September. So like half the year.
It's pretty good.
And it's a hardy water lily, so it can stay out here all year as long as the water doesn't freeze solid. You can start to see some of the fish kicking around. They think we're going to feed them. So we will do that during the stream. The water hyacinth is not winter hardy here. And so I have some growing indoors too. And in the spring, I'll put some more out. Once the danger of frost has passed. The water lettuce, same thing. It's also not winter hardy, but I have so much growing in my goldfish tank and in other tanks, that's not going to be a problem to
and we mostly just had the water
establish
lettuce out at the beginning to help it get started.
Yeah, we took all the water lettuce out of here because it's not Kelly's favorite plant, and for the purposes of the aesthetics, we're prioritizing aesthetics here. We want this to be a nice little fun oasis. And so once everything grows in the way we want it to, we're going to put some other plants out here. We probably won't have any water lettuce. We'll have some water hyacinth for egg collection because it works great that way, but probably mostly not in this big pond. This will mostly be a water lily pond. We might put a dwarf, tiny water lily in this
I think that'd be
pond.
pretty.
And then in this one, we'll probably have some water hyacinth for eggs. Some advantages over mosquito fish. Well, one, they come in all sorts of amazing colors. The ones we have here are red caps. We might as well dig in.
Do you want me to get the food?
Yeah, let's get the food and we can feed them. You can see them a little bit closer up and get an idea of why we like them so much. And we only have one variety so far, but we're going to be getting these babies are going to probably produce by themselves more, but there are so many different types of rice fish. You can see how these have, hopefully you can see it. Can I try to zoom in? The glare is kind of bad, but and the water is not at its most clear right now, but it will be clearer in the future. Like I said, these ponds are maturing. But Kelly's putting some food down. Hopefully you can, yeah, that's not bad right there. You can see these are called red caps. They're like tancho koi or tancho goldfish, which is a reference to the Japanese crane, I believe. It has a very red spot on its head. And of course, these aren't red spots. But in Medaka, orange is the closest you get to red in this species. Koi and goldfish have true red. Medaka don't, but they have lots of different colors. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see both adults and fry eating here. And some of the fry are starting to show colors. Oh, go ahead.
I was trying to point out the females, they ducked away.
Do the females have eggs still today?
I don't think so, not right now, but they have the wider body and the males look more slender.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out.
You probably won't be able to see that color patch.
Which color? Oh, that like the blue?
The iridescent. The females have like this kind of iridescent bluish sort of patch on their sides that the males don't. But it's hard to get a good look at it just because, we're not looking sideways in a tank, we're looking down. So.
Yeah, different angles and stuff. It can be tricky. But I see I know what you mean, I think. Wolfgang says he can see it. Wolfgang,
lovely.
Wax lobster.
Okay.
But these, you can see in some of the babies, they're starting to form the red coloration. Not all of them have it, but some are orange. Some of them, there's a baby that has it.
There's a couple in there.
Yeah, at least 2 of the babies, maybe more, have it. And some of the others might develop it. But the thing with rice fish is they're very variable. And with the red cap strain, at least this one, the babies, about 40% of them should have the orange cap. And there will be some that are just the pearl color, they call it, just kind of the whitish pearl color. It's not the wild type. It's more of a white, kind of a little bit iridescent color to it. Sometimes it looks kind of bluish. There's some that should be just solid orange, and some that should be, they call it kohaku, which is like a certain variety of koi that has orange and white distributed on its body. So they're all pretty, and so we'll probably be getting some of all of those from this year's fry. And there's just a few fry in the tank. There's like 8 of them, I think, and these would not have grown up in here most likely. They would have been eaten because the adults tend to eat the fry very readily. And so to breed them, we had to basically, can you tell them about how the females do the eggs?
Yeah, okay. So you talked a little bit about how they have these clusters of eggs in the morning. They get fertilized in the morning, and see how she's actually they kind of do it all day. She was just kind of rubbing on those roots. I don't know if
I
that
don't
was
know
on
if I
the
caught it. I
screen,
couldn't tell
but
if I caught it.
they like the water hyacinth roots here, long and shaggy, like you were saying, and they go and they rub on those and rub the eggs onto the roots, and then they just hatch. What was it, like a week, 10 days?
It depends on the temperature, but for us, the first fry showed up 10 days after we had males and females together.
They didn't waste any time.
No.
So she's just doing it right now. Oh, and then she went off.
Oh, I think I got that on film.
They just kind of like shimmy around on the roots, even when they don't have any eggs on them right now. And it's just like, I'm just gonna do this all day, just in case.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, they'll eat them, the babies, if they hatch in the same container, because they're teeny tiny.
Yeah.
So we took some of the plants from here, took them out of here, and put them into the medium-sized one where there weren't any adults, and
then we started getting fry.
Yeah. We did individually hand catch some of the babies from the big one the first time because they just started hatching, and then we're like, oh look, babies.
Yeah, there are loads of fry in here.
These guys
but,
will come up.
Yeah, and you probably don't even need to squish it anymore because they're so big now. Yeah. And same with these, except for a little bit, you can squish it because some of them are tiny. There's loads of fry in here. I'm trying to fight the
glare.
The glare, and also not show you on camera because I told you I wouldn't. I think people got a little glimpse of your reflection.
That's okay.
It's not my intention. Okay.
I'm hopefully not too scary today. So.
Oh, you're never scary, but I want to respect your wishes. You can see fry of various ages and sizes in here. Just to give you an idea of the size of these things when they hatch, they're bigger than, say, like a white cloud mountain minnow fry or a Daniel fry, maybe similar to some killifish. They're big enough so that you can, they live off a yolk sac for about 2 or 3 days, and you don't need to feed them. But then after that, you need to feed them. But if you crunch up any food fine enough, they're able to come to the surface and grab it. Oh, that one has some orange on it. It's not very evenly distributed orange.
Yeah, interesting.
Both of those have orange on them.
Yeah.
But they can eat it. And this is Aquarium Co-op Magic Small Fish Feed. This is an older container of it, so it still said Magic Nano. They changed the name to Magic Small Fish Feed. And we got this at our retail partner store for Aquarium Co-op a while ago. It's great stuff. I give it to like all my fish basically, and they love it. They've been growing fast on it. It's not the only food they get because there's just greenish water in here, which means there's algae growing in it, and there are also protozoans in it, so they're getting things like paramecia and whatnot.
Did you talk about the Daphne? You put the Daphnia in. So
oh yeah,
the baby Daphnia.
Yeah, I mentioned they're getting the baby Daphnia. I've put microworms in here too. I think next spring with the next batch, I'm going to try some vinegar eels because vinegar eels are so they stay in the water column unlike microworms. But I have seen them eat the microworms and they like them, and so they're eating a lot of different things, but they just grow like crazy on this food and the other foods that they're getting. Hopefully, you can see them doing their thing. Quite a few of the fry. I can't show all fry on camera at once, but I'll give you an idea. There's some over here too. There's actually quite a lot in here, but it's bigger, and so they're distributed more out through the thing. There's some really, really tiny fry. I want to see if I can show you some of those. This fry right here is probably just like 3 days old. Really tiny, but you can see it's pecking at the food and getting it. It's got a little full belly. That is a minuscule little fry right there. I saw a fry earlier in the big tank up against that side.
Oh, they had another one?
Yeah, there's always
some of them.
I feel like every day we look in there, my daughter especially really loves fishing them out. And there's like 3 or 4 that we find every day, which means judging by the eggs, there's probably like 40 that hatch every day during the breeding season.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be able to catch them all. The parents are going to finish some of them off. So Tima, welcome Tima. I think I failed to welcome you. Do they like ham? Asking for a friend.
We haven't tried
I haven't
that.
tried that, but they like almost everything, so I wouldn't be too surprised. Um, really friendly senior man had a nice big pond in his house and feed them dog food.
Oh, yeah, you
Wow.
could probably
Yeah, a
do
lot of
that.
fish will go after dog food. Let's see. So it's so fun to see their colors developing. And there's so many different colors. This is just one color variety. You wouldn't believe the color varieties they have. They have finnage that's different between different types. They have some have really long fins. Some have kind of veil taily sort of fins. Some have just big fins, but they're not really veil taily. Some have like various colors on their body. There's some that are like jet black, like a black molly. Like their whole body is jet black. They're really pretty, and they don't change color based on where they're sitting, like on their environment. Meaning, like some medaka will change color based on their background. So if you put them in a white pond, they'll get paler. If you put them in a black pond, they'll get darker. And some won't. And the orochi, the really dark ones, and some of the other dark varieties don't change color. You can put them in a stark white pond and they'll still stay jet black. And that's often better because they're easier to see that way. So yeah, that's. I hope I answered that last question about that. Let's see. So theropod hunter, Indian pygmy eels, Pilaya indica, available in USA. Name doesn't ring a bell, nor neither the scientific name nor the common name rings a bell to me, but that doesn't mean they're not there. So Frank the Tank asks, what is the lifespan on these? It depends. I've heard that some of them can last up to 5 years, that 3 years is more common than that, but it also depends on the temperatures that you're subjecting them to and so on. My understanding is that they do best lifespan-wise if they have a cooling off period during which time they are not breeding.
So like during the winter when
Yeah, and the summer is not incredibly hot or long, and so you might get like 3 years out of that. But if you have a really hot summer where their metabolism is through the roof, like one guy on YouTube, he lives in a subtropical climate, and so his summer is like really long and his winters aren't that cold, and he says he gets about 18 months out of it.
Wow.
But I think we'll get longer because we have a longer winter. So
a little more.
yeah, let's feed them a little
Give them
more,
a
and
little
then
bit
we
more.
could. I'll check the fry. I've actually finished all of theirs pretty much too. So let's try it again. Let's feed them. Where did the food end up? I didn't really see.
It's just right
over
in
in
here.
front of the lilies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They love small food items, so this is great food for them, even the adults.
See if the adults come back up. They usually do.
Yeah, the fryer first though. I think
Yeah,
the fryer
fast.
grew up with us as the food providers or something. I don't know. So Aunt Sandy Skink says, "Pray tell, where did you get these cute baby fishies?" Well, I got them. There's an adult. There's a couple of adults. I got them from a guy named Diego, who is fairly local. He lives about an hour away, actually quite near my parents. And so I was sneaky about it, wasn't I?
You were. We went down there for, I don't know, something with your parents. We're hanging out at your parents' house.
It was 24th
24th
of July, which is a state holiday.
State holiday, yeah. Did you even tell me you were going someplace?
Yes,
I don't remember what you said.
I told you.
You were sneaky enough that it didn't stick out in my head, so I don't remember what you said.
I really wanted to surprise Kelly, and this was before she had discovered the surprise, right? So I told her I was going to do a trade with a guy, which was true, because I was trading him Daphnia for some
that's like
blue
a
shrimp.
Totally normal thing. Like you going to go, we call them bug deals.
Yeah,
for a
bug
joke
deals.
at home. Like that's like a normal thing. It would not raise any
eyebrows or any suspicion of any kind
that you were doing something sneaky.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the glare here, but at least you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. Anyway, yeah. So we traded some Daphnia for some blue shrimp, blue Neocaridina shrimp.
I even knew about that part.
Yeah, you did.
That was for Gwen.
I let you know about that, and
so I thought that's just what you were doing.
And at the same time, I also purchased some medaka from him, and anyway. And I had gotten some of them earlier too from him. But anyway, that's where I got them. You can find them online at various places. Dan's Fish has them. There's some other Aquatic Arts, I think, has them. There's several places. They're really getting more popular because they're so tough, and you don't have to keep them outside. You can keep them in a tank, and they do just fine. in a tank too. I have some of these some of the fry indoors.
Yeah, we didn't actually have enough room for all of the babies, so we have some
Yeah.
of the babies inside.
And because the fry can be a little bit more sensitive in the winter and stuff, I'm going to be taking the younger fry indoors during the winter, keeping them in there, and hopefully we'll get, and then, insurance. We don't want our eggs in one basket. So if it does get down to like minus 30 Fahrenheit or something, we lose a bunch of fish, or for whatever reason, the de-icer fails or something, then we've still got something going on, and we still have some rice fish. So let's see. So Frank the Tank and let's see, Aunt Sandy Skinks are wondering about frogs getting here. I'm going to have you address that question.
I mean, that would be really cool, but it's probably unlikely in Utah because it's so dry.
Yeah, I mean, we do
have to
frogs.
Work to get frogs.
There are frogs. There are native frogs. There are invasive frogs.
You shouldn't say cool. I mean, we probably don't want them in the pond.
In the
they
state.
eat the fish, but
yeah, we don't want them in these ponds. But I don't think they would get here because they would have to travel a good distance from them. It is so dry here.
So dry.
I don't think people outside of Utah realize how dry it is. And a frog getting...
I think Nevada is the only state that is more arid than Utah.
Yeah. And,
in the U.S.
Yeah, and like I said, there are native frogs here, but in wetlands and stuff. And there's a wetland like a mile away from here, and there are frogs there. There are bullfrogs. They're invasive, but a bullfrog making its all the way here and then jumping up on this deck, which is like, I don't know, it's raised like 4 feet above the ground. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I think it's pretty darn unlikely. Yeah. So I think we don't have to worry about that. Dragonflies are going to be much more possible threat to these fish. Let's see.
List is over there if you want to hand it to me. I can check
it. Yeah, list. Where's the list? There it is. There. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm all jiggly.
No worries. Okay.
I'm seeing some questions too. Dr. Butterfinger says, thanks to you and your videos, I was able to look after ice pods and Opaiula. Thanks from the UK. Well, you're welcome, Dr. Butterfingers, and welcome. You're on the camera. I'm trying to move that.
It's okay. We did the... I don't care if my knees are on the camera.
No, it's your face in the reflection.
Whoops. Oh, no. Sorry.
I'm just doing it because I know you didn't want it.
Yeah, okay. I didn't.
Wolfgang wax lobster. What can they be housed with? Actually, they're very good community fish. I wouldn't put them with any tiny fry, and I wouldn't put them with anything that fits in their mouth. Other than that, they're quite peaceful. The youngsters scrap with themselves a bit, and the males will kind of scrap a little bit. They don't really do any harm to each other, and they won't harm other fish of similar sizes. Just that rule: if they can fit it in their mouth, they'll eat it, and if something else can fit them in their mouths, they will be eaten. Other than that, they're very, very good. You could put them with guppies or mollies or white clouds or anything like that. They're perfectly fine. They do well with shrimp. They will eat tiny baby shrimp. They probably won't attack the adults, but you could probably get a breeding colony going if you had hiding places and stuff like that. They do well with things like snails and whatnot as well. Any illnesses you have to watch out for. So Cindy's, Bella's buggy bags. They do have, they can have things like wasting disease and bacterial infections, like they can have columnaris and different things like that. I haven't encountered any issues. I haven't kept them for very long, so it doesn't mean I won't. I just watched a video on Heroes Aquariums. He's a Japanese Medaka enthusiast who has been keeping Medaka for like 5 years, and he just did a video on Medaka diseases and how to treat them. So if you haven't checked out Heroes Aquariums and you want to learn more about Medaka, he recently, like a few months ago, changed all his videos into English, and he's still learning English, but he's got subtitles on his videos, and his English is pretty good, and he gives some good information. So you might want to check him out as far as that goes. Is ISO Buddies in the stream? I'm not seeing everything, but somebody was mentioning ISO Buddies, but I don't see him here. Okay, let's see.
I'm looking at the list. I think we maybe did everything that we were going to talk about on the list.
So, Deserted Hermit. Arizona is probably on average hotter than Utah, but because of the monsoon season, they're not more arid.
No.
They get more rainfall.
As my hair will attest, when we went down to Arizona, it behaved very differently.
We went to Arizona down in the monsoon season. It was actually really fun. Had a ball with.
Yeah, it was.
Both with Peter from Bugs in Cyberspace, and Jesse from Shapes in Nature. Oh, sorry, your face keeps being on the camera.
Okay.
I'm trying
Maybe
not
I
to do
should
it.
scoot back.
Okay. Oh, we got a super chat from Zane.
Oh, so nice.
Zane Walji. I hope I'm saying that right. He says, "Hi, that's awesome. I love guppies. Just wanted to let you know I got some isopods today." Oh, very cool. Well, thank you, Zane. Really appreciate that. I'm a little bit behind on the stream, so I didn't notice it right away, but I appreciate the super chat. That's awesome. It looks like, Zane, this is maybe your first time you've done a super chat, so thank you so much. So Frank the Tank, yeah, you should collect some Scolopendra heroes there.
You did. Once,
I did.
didn't you? Yeah.
I did, yeah, when I was there. And the other guys did too. We collected some polymorpha and some heroes. I found one heroes myself. It was nice. I flipped it. It was a very exciting moment for me.
Does anybody ever name theirs Hercules?
They should, huh? So Theropod Hunter, I'm guessing Wyoming is one of the drier states too. It's not one of the most arid. They certainly get a lot more rainfall than we do, but I think it's drier than a lot of other states. It's just not compared to Utah or Nevada.
Part of the state too.
Yeah, it depends on the part of the state. But they definitely get more rainfall. They have things like box turtles there, which we don't. Mm-hmm. Possums, which we don't.
Things like humidity.
Yeah.
Which we don't.
Yeah, Scolopendra heroes is the awesomest, Frank. They're so cool. All right, yeah. So did we cover everything on the list pretty much? I feel like I forgot something, but it's probably just...
Did we talk about raccoon proofing? We talked about the
we talked about the raccoon proofing and how I'm putting the pigeon wire stuff, the spikes, pigeon spikes, anti-pigeon spikes up.
I think we did.
And so Deserted Hermit says, I'm going to catch both Scolopendra heroes, polymorpha, and viridis, only one each, so I can keep them again. I used to have an 8-inch Scolopendra dahani. Wow, that is very cool. I love all the Scolopendra. All I have right now is a polymorpha, but I love it. It's the best polymorpha I've ever had. It's a nice size. It eats really, really well. I've had some that seem like scared to death of anything, including their food. This one will eat banana, plums, crickets, mealworms, super worms, anything I throw in there, it's ready to go. It will just munch it. So I love it. And I've brought it to various presentations, and people love encountering a centipede of that size. Yeah. Okay, should we do one more feeding on these right here?
Sure.
And then maybe one more feeding on everybody, because they eat like little pigs.
They do.
We try to feed them several times a day. Of course, the fry need more food more often than the adults. Probably feed the fry, try to get 3 times a day to 5 times a day, somewhere in there. The adults don't need it that often, but they're eating very small food right here, so we try to, not overdo it, but we let them eat when they want to eat. But if you haven't checked out the coloration of some of these, they have like tiger coloration. They have some that are, like I said, pure jet black. They have some that are dazzling white with these little things they call lame, which are like sparkling stars on them. And the sparkling star ones, the lame ones, come in many, many different colors. They have orange ones with it. They have orange and white ones with it. They have green ones, blue ones. They have one called Sapphire, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's like a blue color with the sparkles on it. So many different varieties. There are hundreds of varieties, and they became more popular. They've been breeding these in Japan for like hundreds of years, since the 1600s. But they became even more popular in the past 10 years or so, and then the pandemic kicked it up a notch.
Oh, because you can keep them in small places, I guess.
You can do it in small places. Most of Japan, you can just keep them outside all year, because a lot of Japan is fairly mild winters. It will snow and it will freeze in many places. Not all of Japan will even do that. It will not usually freeze enough so that it'll go straight to the bottom of the container. And so they're fine. So I think if you went up to like Hokkaido or something, you'd probably have to be more careful. It gets colder there, but lots of people working with them. So Theropod Hunter thinking about getting some Velia capra. call them water crickets in the UK, but my understanding is we would call them water striders.
Oh.
But it's not the same genus we have here. That's pretty cool. Frank the Tank has blue Scolopendra polymorpha, S. viridis, and some other miscellaneous stuff. Cool. I've had a blue Scolopendra once. They're really pretty. It's been a while though. So if you haven't seen us on Instagram or whatever, on Instagram I'm going to be showing when this blooms, maybe on YouTube too. I'm really excited for when it blooms. That's going to be really fun, seeing the lily bloom. I've just enjoyed the idea of getting water lilies for Kelly, and like I said, next year we'll probably get a dwarf water lily to put in here, and we're going to put some other plants in too, things that look good. When we were at the plant store, we saw, what were some other things we saw? Some of the,
there was a tall one that I liked, and I can't remember
a chorus or something like that.
I can't remember what it was now, but it was like mostly stuck up tall out of the water.
Yeah, so we're gonna play with that and find the best plants. I think I want to put maybe some Sagittaria subulata in here too, in these, which you can plant in the lily pot, and it's like a grassy sort of green looking thing that grows in the lily pot, and helps oxygenate things during the winter. It's winter hardy. It's kind of fun, so we might do some of that too. Should we catch some? And we were going to move some of them.
Oh yeah.
Move some of the larger ones. I've got some nets and some catch cups over here. How do you want to do that? Do you want to?
Maybe I hold the camera and you catch them.
You want to switch spots?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
We're going to switch
spots.
It's
going to be jiggly.
Catcher.
It's going to be jiggly. Sorry, folks.
Okay, which one are you catching from?
I'm going to catch from this one because it's kind of crowded.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to get some water in here. You can see there's some green tint to the water, like I said, because this is, there's microalgae growing in the water column, which is good for the baby fish especially. It has some benefits for the older ones too. But I'm going to use the 2-net technique here. This has proven pretty good with these. You sink the big net in. You've probably done this with other fish. It works well with rice fish too. Sink the big net in, and then you use the other one to kind of corral them in. And last time I did this, I caught like 9 at a time, and this time I did not, but I caught some. Let's see. Ooh, I'm getting caught on those shaggy roots. Very shaggy roots. Okay, well, I got a couple. I'm going to take a look.
You can see them a little better in the container.
Yeah, I'll hold them up and let people see it after I catch a couple more. I feel dumb a little bit because I caught so many last time I did this, and this time is like
they learned.
Pretty poor yields, but
they learned.
Maybe they did. Maybe they're like, last time you put that thing in. Oh, I just caught a load of them now. Got like, now you shouldn't net out really tiny ones for the first couple of weeks of their lives. They're very, very fragile. You don't want to be doing that. But these are like about a month-ish old. I should mention that the oldest fry in here are less than a month old, and we've got some decent growth on them. It's kind of nice. The oldest fry in here hatched on August 4th, and it's not even the 4th of September. So in the white container, I don't know if you can see any of the orange on any of these or not.
It's a little hard in the lighting, I think, but it's very little eyeballs.
Yeah, you can tell why they call them medaka, high eyes. It's kind of fun. I've been trying to, make sure I move the ones with orange coloration on them into the bigger pond so that they're going to be our breeding stock for next year. Let's see if that's any easier to see. I noticed that when I use I use my screen to magnify them, I can often see the orange better than. I didn't catch a really tiny one, did I? No.
Not a baby.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Yeah. I was trying not to. The really tiny ones tend to stay up at the surface. Anyway, but I can't see any orange on any of these.
Yeah, not like the Frank says the water is green and yellow due to the elves and leprechauns.
That's probably why.
Yep.
Let's just put them in this pond
Okay.
so that they can grow out and not take up too much space. Can you see them?
Yep.
Okay. Temperature should be pretty equalized because they're right by each other, and the sun hasn't been on them for a few hours. If the sun had been on them, the temperatures would probably be somewhat different because of their size difference, but because they're not, I wouldn't worry about it too much. The population in here was getting a little bit too thick.
Crowded.
A little bit crowded. I can just keep an eye on things now. But yeah, they've been super fun. I've gotten a kick out of it, and now it's just I'm gonna add it to the things that we do around here for fun. And we'll probably be able to enjoy these outside for another month and a half or so, and then it'll start getting too cold. But they will still be eating and everything actively until it stays below 50 degrees. And even on days where it goes below 50 degrees, they will eat as long as it's warmer than that. And if they can have an hour and a half or so to digest, then I should feed them on those days. But if it stays below 50 degrees, I shouldn't be feeding them.
I can't digest it. That was very nice of you, Laura. Thank you.
What did Laura do?
She said, it's nice that I could join you tonight.
Oh, it is. I love it when you join me. The last time you did it was when we did our chicken stream, wasn't it? And that's been a while. It's been a few months.
Yep.
So,
enjoy the sunset.
Yeah, it won't be the last time. Kelly usually doesn't join in the streams, but I'm sure she will again in the future.
In fact, is it time to give them a little hint?
Oh yeah, we should do that. She's actually joining us next week. We're doing a double stream. Usually we've been doing one stream off, one stream on, like every other week we get a stream, but next week we're getting a stream. Kelly is going to be kind of the focus of the stream actually, because Kelly's been part of the Aquarimax channel forever, ever since it started. When we started a podcast back in
I don't remember.
It was 2008.
2008.
It was 2008. We did a podcast together called the Aquarimax Audio Show for 8 years. We did over 300 episodes. I think it was like 330 something episodes.
Russ was the quote unquote straight man with all the information, and I was the plucky comic relief, which is really funny because in real life it's usually opposite. There's a mantis on the wall over there.
Oh, no, I put it there.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, wait, what? Is that the one that you raised? Sorry, yeah. I just saw it, guys. I'm like, ooh.
But I'm glad you like it. Yeah, we
need to put it out in the garden. It can find lovely female mantises and make us some mantis babies.
Yeah, mantis babies. It was a wild cut mantis that we raised from a tiny little first instar baby to an adult. And released it. Anyway,
so real life, it's the other way around.
I'm the silly one usually. I mean, not that Kelly can't be silly, but I'm generally the sillier one. To put it that way.
You're funnier.
Anyway, we did that for many years, and then we decided to focus more on YouTube. And as we did, Kelly transitioned more to doing more behind the scenes but crucial aspects of Aquarimax, but things you don't see on camera. So, she's always been the finance expert, and she helps with delivering orders. Like mostly it's our kids who bring the things to the post office and get them shipped, but that doesn't always work out, and Kelly's done a lot of that as well. She's definitely the finance one. She does a lot of the idea work with me. She has helped me film videos. Generally she doesn't, but she does sometimes, like today, and definitely helps me with ideas when I'm bouncing ideas off. She actually was instrumental in getting me to expand past aquatic pets, because with the podcast we were focused on aquatic things. I started out my channel with aquatic things, and I was asking her about it, and I was thinking, I don't want to just do aquatic things. I want to do other creatures too, because I'm interested in all of them. Obviously, I haven't lost my interest in aquatic creatures, but I've expanded the scope of the channel, and that really helped the channel a lot, because it was, a fairly small channel until I expanded into things like isopods, and then it's not a big channel, but it's not a tiny channel either. And that was partly due to Kelly. So there's a lot of things that she's done to help Aquarimax over the years, and she continues to do that. She's never not been part of it. And she's always been an extremely important part of it. So it's fun to have her back on here in this role. Sometimes it's fun.
About being on camera.
Let's see.
The pots we got at Home Depot.
Yep, all three of them.
You don't have to rewatch just for that.
Yeah, we couldn't get the the liner at the store, some stores had it, but ours didn't, so we ordered that online, but still from Home Depot. So
Yeah.
all of them are from Home Depot.
But yeah, so next week we're going to talk about me and what I do in Aquarimax.
And something really cool.
Something kind of exciting.
Yeah, should we tell them a little bit or not? Just let them find out.
I don't know. Do you guys want to know, or do you want it to just be a surprise?
Maybe we can let it be a surprise.
Nobody's pregnant, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, our pregnancy days are
We're
behind
so
us.
done with that.
But yeah, it'll be cool. So join us next week, and you'll get kind of a different view of Aquarimax and also some other kind of fun surprise things. Some of those things that involve bugs too.
Yep. You won't want to miss.
Yeah. So hopefully see you next week. Thank you everybody for joining, and thank you for the super chat, and just thank you for everybody who appearing and for the likes and all the stuff. So have a great one, everybody.
Good night.
Catch you later.